from Di's Den, and this week I'd like to show you how I made this. Now this is a huge box. It measures, let's see, it measures 8 1/4 inches long. Oh no, about 8 and, well, just under 8 1/4 inches long. And it's, let's see, it is 3 inches wide and 3 inches high, and it is, I call it a man's shaving box, because it'll make a great box for a man and to put his shaving gear in when you're giving him something for Father's Day or for his birthday, whichever. It opens up like so with little Velcro dots, which I haven't got here, so I'll get them in a second, and it will hold like, this is like 100ml bottles of body wash and shampoo and a deodorant. And I'm sure if you squiggled around you'd probably fit more in there if you really wanted to. But it's a really lovely box, really lovely idea, and I think it's just fantastic. I think it's a lovely idea and a beautiful kind of box. I don't know how else to explain it. You could put a little paste a hole in here and put a tag on here to say Happy Father's Day or Happy Birthday. But I just think for something different, it's a really lovely box. So I'm actually going to just turn you off for 2 seconds and start again, because of I didn't bring over some Velcro dots, but I'll go and get them, and actually I won't even turn it off, I'll just go and get them. It's only 4 steps away from one desk to the other, so I've got my Velcro dots. So there's no stamping with this, and I've done half of it because it uses 2 full sheets of A4 paper or card, and you don't need to see me make the same because it's exactly the same for both sides, and then you put it together. So I'll pop this out of the way and it will show you what we need. So as I've already done one, I've done one here, it's all scored and everything, so I have this one ready to go. Let's pop that one on one side. And we just need 2 pieces of card that measure 11 3/4 by 8 1/4, which is a A4 sheet of card. Now if you're living in the US, you can either make this out of a 12 by 12, or you could cut it down by the 1/4 of an inch, the 3/4 of an inch, but you would have to change all the measurements. So I will leave that up to you how you do that. That's up to you. And then for your DSP, you need a piece that measures 8 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and you need 2 of those and 2 of those, and a couple of buttons here I've got that I'm going to put on the side. And I've done the tags, but I will show you, because you still get enough to make 4 tags, so I will show you how they are made. So let's pop this piece on the side and bring in the scoreboard, and I'll show you how we're scoring this. On the long side we're going to score this, and don't forget we're going to be using the thin end because we're in cardstock, and we're going to score this at a 1/2 inch on the long side. Remember, we're on the long side. 1/2 inch and 3 1/2 inches, and that's it for now. And then we're going to turn it onto the short side, and we're going to score this at 3 inches, 7 1/4 inches, and 7 3/4 inches. We're then going to score it at the 6 inch mark to the second score line, and then from the second score line to the end we're just going to do a real gentle score. We don't want it hard, we just want a gentle score so that it will help it to bend. Then we're going to turn it back onto the long side, and then at the 2 inch mark Is that right? Half an inch. At the 2 inch mark, I think it's more than 2 inches. No, that would be the 2 inch mark. And we're going to score down to the second score line here. Alright, so this should be in the middle of that, and that doesn't look right to me. That's 1.5. That's 1.5. Oh, this must be my eyes. My eyes must be going a bit wonky. So just down to the second score line. Now we're going to remove the scoreboard, but we still need our stylus and we need our ruler. And from the corner of the next line down up to that mark here, we're going to score on the diagonal. And then we're going to do exactly the same the other side. So from the line, the third line down and the first line in up to this score line here that we put in, and then from this one across there. Now that's all the scoring we're going to do. So let me pop my score tool away. And we're going to do some cutting. So I'm going to use my big scissors for a lot of this because of, oops, don't move that button up there, because of, there's quite a bit to remove. So on here we've got, I'll see if you can get it in the right light, let's see. Oh, it's not very good light, is it? You've got 6 square, or when they're not rectangles here on the end, up to the 3.5 inch score line. So you're going to cut down to that score line and cut those 2 score lines across the top off. Now what you do on one, you're going to do exactly the same on the other one. So that is why I'm only showing you how to do one. Use my little scissors just to get right in that corner. Come on, get in there. There we go. Oops, that's not a very nice bit there, is it? Right, that's better. Now I'm going to trim that just a teensy bit more, like to get rid of that score line completely, because it will fold a heap better. Now this is the piece that you would use to make your end bits, so I'll put that there and I'll show you what we need to do with those. Okay, so then we're going to turn this around the other way and we're going to cut up the second score line to the first score line, and then we're going to wedge that piece out. And we're going to do the same on this one. We're going to cut up to the score line and then wedge that out. Then I'm going to change to my smaller scissors because it's easier, and we're going to cut this piece off here and just notch that up like so. This one here we're going to notch down, and this one here we're going to notch either side of the score line. So our piece of card should look like this. So now we're going to fold this, and we're going to fold this and burnish it, and we're going to fold and burnish all the score lines. So we're going to fold all these ones across this way, and then we're going to fold the top one, gets folded back the same, the second line down, the first line gets folded back over on top of itself. Now that one needs to be really tightly done, because that one's the one that is going to make the turn. This score line that we did really lightly, we're not going to fold that one. The only reason that's there is it does help, and it's very light scoring, just helps it to bend over. With time it does actually stay there. Now we come to this piece here, and we need to fold that down on that line there. So this is the hardest part, is just folding on that line there And I found the easiest way is just to do it with my tool across there like so. And then we're going to fold these ones back over this way, and this one as well, back this way, and you will see that they will go once we get there. Okay, so that is our pieces, and oops, I've got an itch and I'm not allowed to scratch because my psoriasis is playing up. Okay, so this piece now is going to go here. It will go over this line. So our pieces of designer series paper will go over this line, but that's because we want to fold that over the top so it doesn't actually have a top line on it. Oops. This is old paper. This is all retired. Everything I'm using is retired here. But it's good because it's a great way to use up things when you don't need to. Keeping things, and I just love the idea of making things that we can all use. These are great boxes. They make great for at craft fairs and whatever. So now we're going to put some glue along this section here. Doesn't matter if you go over the second score, the other score line, because it's going to come back over the top and it's going to take a little while to stick. So you're going to need to push that down nice and tight right the way along there, like so. And you can see whether that needs to be trimmed anymore, because you don't want it to go over the top of that score line at all. Okay. Woo! My glue keeps falling over. Now we're going to bring in the other one, which is exactly the same. As you can see, it's all been done, and we're going to glue these two pieces together. So we're going to pop glue onto this tab here and this tab here, and we're going to just glue them together so that these score lines here match up. Now, when we put this together, we pull that one back over here. If we see that that's showing past this score line, we're just going to trim that back a tiny little bit. Just the tiniest little bit. It helps it to close a lot easier. That's the only reason. It's not an end to all, to the end of the life. So then we're going to bring this one over and we're going to glue that one over onto here. So we're going to pop glue on this tab here and this one here. Just making sure, if you're using this directional paper, that you get your direction the correct way up. And we're going to bring those together like so, and use the tool to push it down nice and tightly along that edge. And once again we're going to check it, and you can see that that's just hanging out the edge there. So while that's drying, I'm going to just trim that up a tiny bit there, because it just makes it just that tiny bit neater for doing the rest of the box. Okay, so now we have our box and it's sitting like this. So we're going to turn it upside down, and we're going to work out which side we want to be the top and which one's going to be the bottom. I think I've folded that one. Oh. So we're going to pop our ends in, and then using our glue we're going to pop some glue onto the end here and a little bit onto this one too. It doesn't have to be a real lot, because when we're going to pop... Oh, I didn't fold this one. Look at that. How silly of me. So we'll bring that one in, fold that one in as well, and then we can turn it over, and that will help to actually square up the box. And squaring up the box makes a huge amount of difference. Once we've done that, I'll just make sure that's nice and tight. We're going to turn this around again and we'll pop some glue all the way along this one. And bring this one over on top. And then go back inside and give this a good squish down again. And they will just work beautifully now. So with this box, we've got that bit of a bend there, so we're going to just bend this in like so, and we're going to bend this one in the same, and as you can see, as we're bending, these come in on the sides, and that's what we want, them to come in on the sides, and then they're going to fold straight down like so. So once we've done that, we have our box just about ready. So what I'm going to do now is I will leave that sitting there like that, and it will sit mainly like that. That one it said it doesn't want to, and I will show you what to do with this. Now this is the piece that's got two little tags and two long ones. So to make these pieces here, we need to just chop off the two larger ones at one end. That can go in the bin, and then these pieces need to just cut straight down the middle along that score line like so. Once we've done that, we turn it around so that that tab is at the top, and we pop this into our that one didn't cut real well, did it? Yeah, that's better. Pop that into our corner rounder like so, and we have our corners, and that is our tabs. So it's up to you whether you use these ones or the ones that I made before. Well, you can't. Whether I will use the ones I made before. I might use these ones actually. So what I'm going to do now is, while this is down like this, nice and firmly, so I'm going to pop a little bit of glue just past that score line, and then I'm going to lift this up, turn it over. This is a good way to make sure then that this edge is nice and firm, because you can actually now do that, and we're going to pop that onto there so that that is nice and square. Nice and square, I said, onto the end of that. And we're going to do exactly the same the other side. So I'm going to turn this over and I can push that down nice and firm like so. Pop some, let's just trim that one up. That was a bit yucky on that end, that's better. Pop some glue on this piece here. And while that's folded under, again, making sure that that's nice and straight onto the end like so. We'll give them a few minutes to dry. While that's doing that, I will pop the pin in my glue, which is now working, thank goodness. Luckily Shane helped me with that one. I couldn't get the tip out, I couldn't get the glue to go. It just was really weird, really strange, but never mind, we got there in the end. So now we have our box all finished except for our pieces on the end. So let me see, we're going to pop a nice piece of the soft one on the underside here, and make sure it's on nice and tight. We might as well pop the other one on this one. Now once again, you could use magnets, but I would actually probably steer away from magnets in this case, because there isn't anywhere to hide them. And we're going to pop this one onto the back of that one, so it's on there nice and straight. Doesn't matter which way this folds over, left or right, it doesn't really matter. Down press it down nice and tightly. Let's do the other side. Get on there, off my fingers. Nice and tightly. Once we're happy with that, we will then slowly peel them up so that we can then pop our hand inside and make sure they're on nice and tight. We don't want them moving. And then we're going to just get a couple of dimensions, one on the back of each of these buttons. You could use glue dots if you wanted to, but I think the dimensions are just good enough. Plus I don't have any glue dots around me here. Button on that one. Ooh. Oops. Waking up everybody. Button on that one. As I say, pull that down. Down and down, and there we have it. We have our beautiful men's wash box, and I think it's just gorgeous. I think if you didn't want to put the tabs there, you could actually put your glue, Velcro right up here, and instead of having the tabs, I think that would work just as well. But there you go. What do you think? I think it's a lovely idea, and as I say, it will hold a fair bit, as you saw. So that's my two wash boxes. I'm sure Dad will get one for his birthday. His birthday's in June. Father's Day is not till September here in Australia, so but I know Father's Day is in June, I think it is, in the UK, and I'm not sure about in the US. So, but there you go. Here's a nice little box. Great idea, especially if, maybe even for somebody that's in hospital. You know, you could take them this with a get well card, and they've got some toiletries. What a great idea. I never even gave that one a thought. Not that I've got anybody in hospital at the moment, thank goodness. But I hope you've enjoyed today's project. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe so you don't miss any other tutorials. If you would like the written tutorial for this, please head down to Die Stamp for stamping, crafting and tutorials. You'll find the link right down the bottom there. You will find the written tutorial on my Facebook group. You just have to join. It's free to join. All the tutorials are free. You just have to ask to join. So I will see you again next week. Bye for now.